Let's have these exercises. Rewrite each statement in if-then form. So to write the given statement in if-then form, we should identify first what is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion. For number 1, I will not join if you will not come. So the word if, or after the word if, is our hypothesis, so you will not come. I will not join is our conclusion. So to write this as if-then statement, this is our P statement, and this is our Q statement. So if P, comma, then Q, then ends with a period. So I will not join if you will not come. To write this as if-then statement, if our P statement, you will not come, comma, then our Q statement, I will not join, ends with the period. So if you will not come, then I will not join. Number 2, I bring my umbrella when it is raining. Again, when is a counterpart of the word if. So our hypothesis, it is raining, that is our statement P. I bring my umbrella is our conclusion. So that is our statement Q. So to write an if-then form, if P, comma, then Q, period. So if it is raining, then, comma, then I bring my umbrella, period. So the if-then form of I bring my umbrella when it is raining is if it is raining, then I bring my umbrella. Number 3, two angles are congruent if they have the same measure. Our word if, therefore, after the word if is our hypothesis. They have the same measure, that is our P statement. Two angles are congruent, that is our conclusion. So that is our Q statement. They pertaining to our subject of the statement, which is the two angles. So to write a sentence, we should start with the noun and then pronoun. So they will change as two angles. So if two angles have the same measure, comma, then they are congruent. Again, to make it grammatically correct, we start for the noun and then pronoun. Let's have another example. A right angle is an angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. We do not have here the word if and the word when. So to know the if statement, we should know our subject of the sentence. So a right triangle is an angle that measures exactly 90 degrees. Our subject of the statement is the right angle. So therefore, that is our if statement. So to write this as if-then form, again, if P, comma, then Q. If an angle is right angle, comma, then it measures exactly 90 degrees, and with the period. So our if statement again is the subject of the sentence. The rest, that will be our then statement. Next one, number 5. All squares have right angles. So we know that our subject in the sentence is the word squares or all squares. What is a square? A square is a polygon, or it can be also quadrilateral. So to write this as if-then form, if a polygon is a square, comma, then it has right angles. Or we can also write this, if a quadrilateral is a square, then it has right angle. So we should define first what is a square to make it an if-then statement. Number 6, all birds have feathers. Our subject here is all birds. And what is a bird? A bird is an animal. So that we can easily form an if-then statement. So to write this an if-then statement, if an animal is a bird, comma, then it has feathers. And that is our if-then form. 7. I will be a millionaire when I win Monopoly. So we have the word when, that is the counterpart of the word if, to simply identify where is the hypothesis and the conclusion. So after the word when is our hypothesis, and this will be our conclusion. So to write this as if-then form, so our hypothesis is our P statement, and our conclusion is our Q statement. So if I win Monopoly, comma, then I will be a millionaire. Period. So to make a statement, it should end with period. If I win Monopoly, then I will be a millionaire. Next, number 8, supplementary angles form a linear pair. So our subject in the statement or in the sentence, supplementary angles. So what is supplementary angles? They form a linear pair. So this is our P statement, and the rest will be our Q statement or conclusion. So if two angles are supplementary, comma, then they form a linear pair. So that is our if-then form of the supplementary angles form a linear pair. So we can also have if angles are supplementary angles, then they form a linear pair. So why do I write 2 as 2 angles? Because we are talking about a angle pairs for the supplementary and linear pair. But it is also acceptable if you write if angles are supplementary, then they form a linear pair. Next, for number 9, two sides of an isosceles triangle are congruent. So our subject here is two sides of an isosceles triangle. So what are the congruent? The congruent is or are the two sides of an isosceles triangle. So we write our if-then form if a triangle is isosceles, comma, then the two sides are congruent. So that is our if-then form. If a triangle is an isosceles, then the two sides are congruent. You can also have as if a triangle is isosceles triangle, then the two sides of the triangle are congruent. So it is also the same. Or if a triangle is isosceles, then the two sides of the triangle are congruent. Last number, two angles whose sum is 90 degrees are complementary. So our subject in the sentence is the two angles. So we write this as if the sum of two angles is 90 degrees, then they are complementary. So two angles whose sum is 90 degrees, that is our if statement. This will happen first before we can say that this is complementary or the two angles are complementary. So that is our if-then form. If two angles or if the sum of two angles is 90 degrees, then they are complementary.